Yeah, very exciting. Gonna go into some questions from the viewers from our last episode. Let's see. Justin Oliver, what's up, man? Do you ever make it anywhere around Iowa? We have Smash Park here, and Zane and Johnson Cola just stopped out our way. Got to get some time to play with them. Would love to meet you and take a clinic. I'm not going anywhere that Zane and John went. Okay, I'm not. Okay, I mean, get real. No, I'm just kidding. I would love to come to Iowa.
Yeah, heck yeah.
I'm a big Dan Gable fan. Dan Gable is a wrestler for Iowa Hawkeyes back in the day.
He was the undefeated.
His
whole
NCAA champ guy was freaking tough as nails. If you, I'm taking request-based camps for 2022. We're all jam-packed for this year. You can email info@tysonmcguffin.com. Get me 16 to 32 campers, and Kyle and I will make our way over.
We'll come on down. Yeah, would love to come out. Not familiar with Smash Park. I don't know if that's like a standard club or like a kind of like a chicken and pickle, but yeah, I would love to check it out.
Okay. Excuse me if I say your name wrong. Mervat Amin. That could be very wrong. It is worth to put the time. Is it worth to put the time and effort to learn how to hit a two-handed backhand? What do you think?
I think it's a longer term thing if you've been playing for a while. So I used a two-handed backhand in tennis. When I found pickleball, no one was using one, and so I kind of got really dialed in and programmed to do everything with a one-hander. I know for me, I would like to get a little bit more power on my backhand punch in some of those faster exchanges. So I have been dabbling with adding a two-hander. Just speaking for me personally, it is a longer process just because, again, I've kind of programmed some of those instincts in those fast exchanges to stay with one. But I'm definitely, as I'm teaching my children to play pickleball, I've got one son who's all about it. I am definitely teaching the two-hander. I think that you get a little bit more reach to the side. You can play really good, solid defense by putting a second hand on the paddle and absorbing power. And I think that you get a little bit more power because you can get more rotation on those counterpunching shots. So I think there's a time and a place to use it that does not come with all advantages. You lose some reach out front. But I think if I'm training someone to be a pickleball pro, 10, 15 years from now, like I'm envisioning, theoretically for one of my kids, I would think both would be the way to go, is what I would envision. I mean, even look at Ben Johns at times, he'll throw that second hand on the paddle.
Scott Moore's been playing for how long? The guy just added a two-hander in?
Yep, I think there's some subtle advantages. Definitely, you got to practice it quite a bit to get it ready for match play, because there's times where you'll use two hands, I would say, incorrectly, or where one hand is optimal. But I think definitely worth the time.
If you can find a better answer than that, let me know.
Boom.
I'm not gonna touch.
I'm not gonna be to touch it. He's sticking with the one-hander. Yeah. It works. It works for you, right?
You know what I live by? Don't hit a backhand. Okay, just live and die by the forehand.
Find that fear hand.
Okay. Let's see here. Kyle mentioned what he did while playing with people lower in their level to play with him. But what can I do when I don't get a ball except when they can slam it at me? Yeah, it's tough. I would actually. I have a prime answer or two answers. The first one is try to insert yourself by I guess taking more court, talking to your partner beforehand, making sure that they allow you to take more court. But I think if you're looking to take more court, just justify that with your partner. Mm-hmm. Second option could be go to pickleplay.com, download the app, and find level-specific play in your area. You can go on the app. You can make groups. You can create events. I think this app is widely used for players that are in your position that don't see a lot of balls, or maybe that are at a typical park with 6 courts. There's people waiting. Levels are all over. Nobody really knows what they're doing. There's no paddle system. It's not very organized. Pickle play essentially is for the player that is looking to play tournaments, that wants better play, that wants to set up their own groups, that that doesn't want to hang out with some of the chaos, if you know what I mean.
Well, I think the direction that the game's going, and I think this is okay. It's still pickleball will still be an inclusive sport where not everyone has to be the same level to play against each other. But when you're drilling, when you're trying to use those valuable hours that we all have in our busy schedules to try to improve, I think it's really important to be able to play with someone that's a comparable level so that you're getting something out of it. So there's already quite a few users, subscribers on Pickle Play, but I expect that number to really start to jump and grow just as pickleball grows
right now.
Yeah. And so, great answer. And obviously it's frustrating when you don't get the ball hit to you. But like Tyson said, if you can have that conversation maybe early on with your partner and just say, hey, listen, I'd like to get something out of this as well. It seems like they're trying to keep it away from me. Would you be all right if I crowd
not
you? Not
always
times?
a fun.
It's you have to deliver it very delicately, but say, I'm not trying to crowd you. I'm just trying to get involved a little bit, and hopefully that goes over in a decent way. But it's not fun.
No,
it's not fun when
it's
you're
a very
not,
very touchy subject.
for sure.
Okay. I believe, is that your wife there?
Not yet, but
we are actually going to Silverwood after this, taking the whole clan, or Kyle's kids are already there. My kids are here right now, but Silverwood's a fun amusement park, about 10 minutes north.
Have a fun little Saturday.
Fun little Saturday. Okay, so this is from Kento, 1957. Love the advice for coaching. Questions. For a 4.0 to 4.5 level player in a 2-hour drill session, what specific drills do you recommend and how much time on each? How do you prepare for a tournament? Specifically, what drills do you do and how much time do you spend doing them weekly, daily? Another one is, do you think family camp obligations has impacted your training and consequence tournament performance? I like it. Okay, so first question. What specific drills do you recommend and how much time on each? Yeah, so we kind of have a set program. We do a little dynamic warm up once we get to the courts, get our body warm up like a professional, and then dink both ways cross, dink up the line. I kind of use my little 5 to 10 minute tournament warm up as kind of like my rec play warm up, and then I would say that. If there's something lacking, I think it's very situational. Yeah, this is kind of broad. If there's something lacking in my game, like I'm always looking to, I would say, tie like 60% of the practice or 70% of the practice around that area. For example, I'm still working on my counterpunch. I feel like I'm at the top of the game with dinking. I'm at the top of the game with defense. I'm just more so looking to get some more added punch on my volleys. I'm not gonna lie. I've been doing a lot of situational games and drills that have to do with hand speed. And for example, we for as far as drilling, we do forehand to forehand, backhand to backhand volley, body to body, or zone 4 to zone 4, zone 1 to zone 1, zone 2 and 3, back and forth. And then from there, some of the games that I actually like doing when it comes to hand speed, it's a little elementary. And anytime that I bring this up in a camp, I usually get kind of weird looks because people probably aren't used to feeding a speed up from a very stationary spot. But like the perfect game that I use for hand speed is like I'll have Kyle acting as the attacker. I'm acting as the counter attacker. Kyle essentially, there's two ways. If Kyle wants like a dink in front of him, I can feed a dink and then he can speed up off the bounce. Then we play it out from there. Or the drill that I like better is he just feeds for himself and he could use the phrase of bounce, apex, speed up. On the apex, he's going to speed up and then we just play it out from there. But something that I do, I'm working on my hand speed. I would say 70% of my training right now is all devoted to, being quicker with my reactions, seeing the ball better, seeing the ball in detail, looking at the holes, looking at the seam, but just trying to get better in that specific area. So I think it's a little situational, but I guess like to wrap all that around, if you are working on something in your game, let's spend 60 to 70% of your training focused, under that umbrella. That kind of makes sense to me. You also mentioned what do I do as far as drilling and gameplay before tournaments. I would say ratio of gameplay to drilling before tournaments is probably 80% gameplay to 20% drilling. feel like the week leading up into the tournament, I shouldn't be focused on technique. I shouldn't be trying to add things to my game. Right. I shouldn't be trying to reinvent the wheel.
Just trying to sharpen what you have.
It's more so tactical based. It's putting myself in pressure scenarios. It's getting my mind right. It's making sure that my wife and I are on, good terms. I feel like, hey,
get your relationship.
Well, I mean, shit,
I get it.
I mean, if things are good with her and I, and the kids are good, and everybody's happy, it kind of seems like I play better. So I'm
happy wife, happy life.
I actually stress like mental health going into tournaments, and just like being happy, being confident. Having things going well at home. Right. But I would say leading up to tournaments, it's probably 80% gameplay to 20% drill. Outside of that, if I'm not gearing up for a tournament, or if I have 3 weeks to kind of get geared up for a tournament, I would say those 2 weeks before, it's probably going to be heavy drilling to gameplay. Maybe it's 70-30, but just the week leading up, I would say it's 80-20. It's a lot more pressure scenario, live situational games, but just getting my mind right, getting my tactics right, and more so just like what Kyle said, kind of sharpening things. Kyle?
I would say quicker answer I would say would be 4.0 plus to me when I'm doing drills and coming up with the drills for my students. I think you're the level now where you're advanced, where I think definitely, like Tyson said, you need to always spend a good amount of time at the kitchen line, just working on your dinking, doing competitive dinking games. You can never get too good there, and it's so important to be confident there. But in addition to that, if you're back in the transition or baseline, I'm a big fan of coming up with drills where you vary speeds. So you maybe drive one, drop the next, or you block one, counterpunch the next. So getting used to or simulating that aggressive temperament, or finding opportunities for aggression within that patient game, and being able to on a dime switch mindsets into offensive mode, or in a dime switch mindsets into more of a defensive mode was what I would advise for gameplay, for drilling on the more advanced levels.
Okay. Last question here was, do you think family and camp obligations have impacted your training and consequence tournament performance? I want to say no, but I think we all know that with having kids, with running a business, there's a lot going on. My wife especially wears a lot of hats. I wear a couple. She wears about 10. So with that being said, I would say it's probably not a huge benefit to my game, but I'm kind of looking at this from a long-term factor where, I wanted to be the first one to have a really professional podcast. I wanted to be the, first individual player to have a badass camp company. So I think I was, looking outside of just performance, right. And grew up with 6 siblings. There's 7, obviously 7 total. So I kind of grew up with a big family. Always wanted a big family. I don't want to be 60 years old when my kids are 10 years old. So with that being said, it made sense to kind of get things rolling and kind of get the family started, get the business started and stuff like that. Really kind of get a jump start on things. But now that I have my bearings, we're building the YouTube channel. We're, in the first year of the camp company. Things are going well. Camp numbers are good. I feel like now I've kind of got all my ducks in a row. Now I can kind of, point back to or just work harder in the sense of being in the gym more, spending more time on court, things of that nature. Because I'm not going to lie, the last 8 months has been a building phase of running a new business, getting the YouTube channel kind of off the ground and just, doing things that are probably not as beneficial to my play.
Yeah, I would say similar for myself. It's just, been about a year since I've gone full-time pickleball. And so to some degree, just getting used to, well, what does that mean? What does that career look like? Getting used to the schedule and the traveling, obviously what pays the bills for somebody in my shoes, who's not the top, 3 or so player like Tyson is going to be the teaching. So put a lot of my mental passion into that. I'll admit, I think my game has been stagnant for a little bit, and so I'm pretty motivated to address that as well. But to a certain degree, when you're focused on teaching, sometimes you forget, to be adding and to making sure that that your own game is as sharp. So it's it's just another obstacle like we all have.
Yeah, for sure. But yes, something I have noticed in the last 3 months with, like, you know, being so involved with my family and having kids and working with my wife. My wife runs my business. She runs her business. She obviously does a lot. One thing I know for sure, like what I mentioned previously, is when her and I see eye to eye, when you know, her and I are working as a team, not only does it benefit my business, it benefits my game. It benefits everything in life. So
it's all connected.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. That definitely hits home to me. Let's see, a couple more questions here. Could you talk about the concept? Sorry, this is from MJD. Ty, could you talk about the concept of you have more time than you think? I hear you say it in some of your videos, but could you explain it in terms of gameplay? What situations where we may have more time than we think? I have plenty of scenarios. The first scenario is when Ben is eating me up head to head, and I know the speed up is coming, and I'm not staying home, and I'm like so premature with my guess, and I'm like, my hands are everywhere,
you're falling out
fumbly,
forward,
right. If I just took my sweet time and kept my hands in a good ready position, and I stayed home with my hands, and I watched the ball longer, and I, plain and simple, if I just wait and give myself an extra second and not jump out of ready position so quick, I will recognize that I have a lot more time than I think, and I can volley better, I can see the ball better. And I guess in that context, when I stay home and I wait longer, the ball comes in juicy, it's got veins on it, right? And it's got my name on it, and I see it right away. When I'm quick to like leave home early, or if I'm like premature with my ready position and I guess, the ball's like the size of a grape and I don't see the speed up coming. So I think if that makes sense. Another example is when you feel pressure, if somebody's not comfortable hitting their third shot drop, they're going to hit their third shot drop and they're going to take off. Versus saying, hey, I have plenty of time to gain real estate in transition. I don't have to rush. I can look at the ball trajectory, or I can look to see where the returner is making contact. But I guess two things that like make sense to me is that when somebody's uncomfortable in a select area, they feel like they have no time.
Yep.
Another example is I went surfing in Orange County. Okay. And I'm on the surfboard, and I was never on the surfboard. I tried to freaking get on the goddamn surfboard, but no, I'm riding the wave, and I get up. I barely get up, but if I just let the wave carry me like an extra 2 seconds, and I get up a little later, I will actually get up. But I was so premature with my stand up, and I was so quick to get up because I didn't recognize how much time I had.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's just so true. Like if you're uncomfortable with something, like you feel naturally rushed and you feel pressure, and with feeling pressure, you feel like you have no freaking time.
Well, and in regards to hand speed battles, I think something about, yes, it's up tempo, but you can still be relatively relaxed.
Yeah.
Like you said, to be relaxed, you're going to be able to wait for that ball to get into you a little bit more. I think sometimes we know we need to get extension to meet the ball out front. I know for me, when I get jumpy or panicky, I'm way too far out in front because I'm not relaxing. I'm not realizing I have a little bit more time to allow myself to react rather than guess and get a little bit jumpy.